Hey guys, welcome to a brand new YouTube video. Today we are back in Valorant, since this seems to be the game buzzing the news in recent times. Rather than doing gameplay, I'm going to be showing you some settings that the pros might be using. These are probably the most competitive settings you'll find in-game, and after the settings we'll go over crosshair, which is also very important aspect of a game like this. Now, I haven't played CSGO or the beta of this game, but I have friends who did, so I'd like to shout out all of my buddies that helped me out with this video. With their help, I was able to do some testing. So, let's go over the best competitive settings. Now, first off, sensitivity for aim can be whatever you want it to be. This is completely on preference, okay? There is no competitive sensitivity. But for scoped sensitivity multiplier, I found that if you are transferring what you had on CSGO to this game, the multiplier would be 0.75, I believe. So for CSGO players, if you want to bring over the same sensitivity settings, the multiplier is 0.75. Next, invert mouse, again preference, and cycle. For the minimap, I leave it on rotate. This is still preference, depending on what you like, but I find that rotate helps me focus on my part of the map, where I'm headed, stuff like that. For minimap settings, if you played the beta, I found that the minimap zoom that gets the closest to what the minimap was like in the beta is 0.68. If you want to keep your same settings from the beta, if you put 0.668, excuse me, not 68, 0.668 will get you as close as possible to the beta's minimap. Now let's go over to video. Now, resolution, not too important with this game, and make sure though, when you have a high refresh rate monitor, that you don't cap the FPS. Like, actually I have it capped here. You want to leave your max FPS at whatever the refresh rate of your monitor is. Other than that, most of this is preference. For graphics quality, I found that you want to keep UI quality as high as possible. Detail quality, you might want to put on medium as well. It just helps you notice certain differences in the setting, helps you spot out enemies easier. Material quality can be set on low if you're not able to run it higher, and texture quality can also be left on low. So the main two graphics quality settings you want to focus on is detail quality and UI. Everything else is preference except for VSync. For the love of God, just leave VSync off. I might make a future video on the differences between G-Sync, VSync, and none at all. But for now, all you need to know is that VSync should be off all the time. It's horrible. Now to the crosshair. As you see up here, where my mouse is, it's a pretty competitive crosshair. It's very similar to the types of crosshairs you might see pros in CSGO using. For the crosshair color, you generally just want to go with a color that is easily noticeable to you. I went with green, pops out to my eye, very noticeable. Uh, Yellow and cyan are pretty noticeable. Pink. So color, just whatever is noticeable to you. You want to leave outlines off and center dot off. For outline opacity, I went with 0.185. I felt like that was probably the best. This is what a lot of people on CSGO used. Outline thickness, leave that at the minimum, 1. Center dot opacity and center dot thickness, also at the minimum, 0 and 1 respectively. You want the fade crosshair with firing error off. I find that distracting. And this is whatever you want. All this does to showing spectated players crosshair. When you're spectating somebody, it just regulates whether or not their crosshair is visible. I usually leave it on so I can make fun of how bad their crosshair is, but whatever floats your boat. For inner lines, I have the opacity set at 0.7, the length at 5, the thickness and offset at 2, and movement error and firing error off. You want anything with error off, okay? Outer lines, I went with an opacity of 0.3, a length of 0, and a thickness of 0. We want to leave those at the minimum. And then I have an offset of 8. 7 seems alright, but I think 8 is the best. For movement error and firing error, you want those off, like I said earlier. And that's pretty much it for the crosshair. And that's pretty much it for this video. Overall, these settings worked best for me, personally. They might not work for you. I'm just telling you what felt the most closely to what pro players would use and what is most competitive to me. If you want something else, that's completely fine. This is just a recommendation video for what I found competitive. As always though, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And check out some of my other videos. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.